This is Henry Frederick of Headline Surfer, and I'm here today with Jason Davis, the Volusia County Chair candidate in the November 6th elections. You're here on the Sunday Conversation. So, Mr. Davis, how's it going with the campaign?
Well, first off, you can call me Jay or Jason. Campaign is going very well. It's just amazing. Got a lot of support. We opened up quite a few eyes on the 15th, and a lot of people were very intrigued and impressed by what we've done.
By the 15th, you mean the day after the August 15th primary with the results?
Yeah, and it was, ever since then, we've just been running, boots on the ground and go.
How much magic is there left in this shampoo bottle or this genie bottle for Jason Davis? I mean, the expectation was you were supposed to come in last, and there was the Sierra Club or one of the clubs,
Tiger Bay,
that didn't even give you the credence of participating in a debate for the seat that you're running for.
Yeah, well,
how did that make you feel?
Well, personally as a candidate, I felt, that was wrong. There is a fairness act that we should be all following, and you get equal time. But, as an American veteran who's fought in a war, fight to the death for the right to make that decision. So it was their decision. They were a private organization. They had to make that decision, so we just have to live with it. And while they were in their debate, I was out doing the fundraiser, so it worked out well.
I mean, in the very beginning, you were the mugshot.
Yeah,
they had the display photos of the heavyweights, Persis and Doran, and you didn't get the respect of that appearance or that discussion forum, and yet you won a place in the big race, and you finished second, and here you are in the runoff on November 6th.
Yeah, I've always believed throughout all my military experience that respect is not given. You earn respect. And I do believe that we've earned a lot of respect from a lot of people who were just kind of waiting to see what was going to happen. So
now, I know you have the respect of those of us who know about your military background and your Award for Valor. Tell us a little bit about what that is.
Well, the Bronze Star for Valor is an award that is given to a soldier, NCO, any individual that does a valorous action which results in the saving of lives of our fellow soldiers. I caught a flanking action out of the corner of my eye. I was in charge of about 10 troops.
Now this is in Iraq.
This is in Iraq.
1991,
the Gulf War, first Gulf War. And my troops were doing their thing, and I just told them to keep doing what they were doing, and I had to go over the hill. We were getting outflanked by 4 Iraqis, so
now,
apparently.
Was that the incident where you got injured, or was that subsequent?
After that action, it was like about 15 minutes later. I was injured.
So basically,
yeah, but it's in the same
day, same spot, same
everything. Yeah.
You had some serious injuries.
I got caught in a backblast of an anti-tank weapon that I ordered to be fired upon a vehicle, and the backblast area up to like 15 meters will kill you. And at the
For those of us who are not good in metrics,
what
would that be in feet?
About, a meter is 3 feet, so about 30 feet. We'll just say 30 feet for even numbers. And I gave the order for this weapon to be fired at the last second. One of the guys looks over and goes, "Sarge, look out!" And I went, "Oh."
So
I was in the wrong place at the wrong time, and I jumped. And when I jumped, he fired it off. It spun me around the air a little bit. I landed funny, dislocated my shoulder, concussion. I lost the hearing in my ear.
Did you have to have any kind of
No, the Army wanted to do that, and I said, "No, thank you. I've seen your surgeries. I'll deal with the pain." So,
and you about a year in Iraq?
Yes, I was there for a year, for the whole, from the day, like 20 days after Kuwait was invaded until I think we were there for 120 days after the Gulf War was over.
Now, we just celebrated the 11th, if you can call it a celebration, I guess it's a respect for our country, the 11th anniversary of 9/11. Do you feel like it's become like every other holiday where they celebrate, they recognize it that day, and then they just go about their business? The networks, for example, the cable networks that are pretty high on this stuff. This time around, I stood up and watched like 4 hours worth of programming on the History Channel, and they had all kinds of like amateur video, stuff that gave you a completely different perspective on what the reaction was from people that were in Manhattan. For example, there were a couple young ladies, I believe they were sisters and cousins, that had a camera fixed on the Trade Center after the first day.
Yeah, and then the
second one came in, and
it was a mess.
I'm sure a lot of people heard about it. They were screaming, they didn't want to be in the building anymore. They were on the 38th floor, they were concerned. I mean, Do you think that we take for granted that something like that could happen again? You were over there. You know how these people operate.
Yeah, they don't give up. I mean, we see it currently, even in Libya, what's going on now in Egypt and the Middle East right now. It's getting crazy. It's mayhem.
Let me ask you this.
But they won't give up.
Is there a difference between the jihadist extremists, the Al Qaeda, the Muslim Brotherhood, and the everyday person who lives in these countries?
Oh, yeah.
Or is there like a sense of nationalism or religious fervor where it doesn't matter? They just go, they get caught up in it.
I guess I had the misfortune of meeting the extremists as well as we met some of the locals. Local people are just like us. I mean, they're out there, they're trying to make a living. The guys we were dealing with were goat herders,
Right.
Bedouins, and they were dealing with the goats and the camels. And, we deal with them in the local stores.
Reminds me of that movie that I love, the Hurt Locker. That's the one of the academy where they had like these soldiers. It was kind of like a documentary. It was really sad how they were taking out with snipers. The American snipers taking out targets. Did you get that kind of sense of fear, and not fear for yourself, but I mean that sort of always being on your toes, that you didn't know when the next. I'm sure you lost friends over there.
No, luckily for me, I brought all of my soldiers.
So you really are a hero then.
I don't know.
Well, you got the Valor Award.
Well, I got the Valor Award. I got the CIB. I got all kinds of other stuff on it too. But it was my mission to bring these guys home. And there was a couple times, when we might not have come home, but I said, no, you go left. We did, and we survived.
You were talking a minute ago about 9/11 and the idea of that it's relegated to like secondary coverage of like the History Channel or that kind of thing. I mean, and then of course,
if you really want to know how these particular military style days are, or how they're really celebrated, you go to your local VFW, American Legion, AMVET, or any of these military organizations.
they know.
We'll tell you. We'll show you. 4th of July, we'll have free hot dogs and hamburgers and Cokes for the kids.
Right.
We do the whole full-blown ceremony, saluting the colors, raising the colors, half.
Yeah, we've been to the organization.
And these are things that are very emotional for most of us. We all get a big lump in our throat because that's what we did. I've gotten to a point where I did have to go around and say, where was the 9/11 ceremony? And so I went to my one of my old posts. I went in. They said, yeah, we're having one. I said, great. Can I? He said, sure. Come on. And it was all. It's when I get in there, it's like a veteran. We're just veterans.
Yeah.
I'm not doing any campaigning or nothing like that. This is what we're here for. We're here to celebrate our history and to remember those who've fallen and to show respect. And that's what we do.
Well, let me ask you this.
It's a different kind of brotherhood inside our little groups.
Because you're from the inside, you know you were over there. 9/11, what we didn't think would happen or what we suspected might happen, happened. It was an opportunity to draw world attention, to take out an American ambassador to Libya, just after we helped liberate them from Gaddafi. And 3 other American citizens with him, killed. It's like, execution style. These were not hoodlums. What do you think about the difference between that targeting and, like it's been described by reporters on this at the scene in Cairo, of just local hoodlums jumping up in the air and riding their motorcycles and waving to the TV cameras, versus the people with the real guns. Is it really this movie that you think?
No.
I mean, do you think the American citizens would buy that?
No. And if anybody does, let's stop and look at the timeline. 9/11 happens. Okay. We did our 9/11 celebration. That is always, for some of these extremists, it's always a big thing to say, hey, we've got to go and do something. No, we're not forgetting either. So they go and do something. It wasn't until the Secretary of State Hillary Clinton got over there and said, we find this movie to be horrifying and everything is just terrible what you do. Other than that, it wasn't even a subtext in any show, any news broadcast.
And a free speech,
and then all of a sudden,
privately
here it is.
produced movie.
And then all of a sudden, 30 seconds later, it's this big, huge, I'm sorry. No, these were chickens. These were basically hoodlums
Right.
who just went in and said, "Hey, we can do this." They got in there somehow.
Tear up the flags.
They tear up the flag. You're a coward. I'm sorry, you're
Right.
a coward. Come on over here and let's talk. I have no problem. Come on over and I'll personally talk with them.